Prince Harry has a lot to say, has said it, shown it, written about his childhood trauma, his adult anxiety, and the private details of the royal rift that seems so fierce.
Do you speak to your dad?
We haven't spoken for quite a while.
The book officially released tomorrow, but really, it's all out there now.
You've just put enormous amounts of private conversations in the public domain. And wouldn't your brother say to you, Harry, how could you do this to me? After everything we went through, wouldn't that be what he would say?
He'd probably say all sorts of different things, but the level of planting and leaking from other members of the family means that, in my mind, they have written countless books.
So the big question now, is the relationship between Prince Harry and the royal family salvageable? No one better to answer that than Katie Nicholl, royal correspondent for Vanity Fair, author of multiple books about multiple royals. So Katie, is it salvageable?
Well, it's a really good question, Adrienne, and it's a really hard question to answer because right now, given all of the bombs that Harry has thrown at his family, I mean, they really should turn Buckingham Palace into a bomb shelter because that's what they need. And I think there can be a reconciliation somewhere, but not till much further down the line. And I think actually there will be two reconciliations here. I think the first will be with the king. I think we're going to see him extend an olive branch. I expect we will see him invite the Sussexes to the coronation. This idea of a rift at the heart of the House of Windsor is not what he wants. But I think with Prince William, I think that's going to be much, much harder. I think William has been deeply hurt, a great sense of betrayal on his part. William simply could not, and to this day cannot understand why Harry left and how he left. And Harry can't understand why his brother isn't more on his wavelength. So there is a real divide. So,
Katie, you know Prince Harry, you communicate with the royal family, and I'm wondering, what is the feeling within that family right now?
Well, I have spoken to sources who have been in touch with the immediate members of the royal family, and there is a palpable sense of shock, of betrayal, and of astonishment at just how far Prince Harry has gone in his autobiography. I think they knew they'd gotten away pretty lightly with the Netflix docuseries, so they were ready for far more revelations and a far more damaging narrative in Harry's autobiography, but I don't think anyone was quite expecting the length to which Harry has gone.
You know, I'm imagining Prince Harry listening to this conversation and saying, this is the sort of leaking he was talking about. Is he right about that?
Listen, the job of any communications office within the palace is to communicate with journalists. That is what they're there for. This idea that Harry is absolutely hell-bent on, that the palace was sitting there calling royal correspondents like myself and planting negative stories about him and about Meghan and giving us favourable stories about Camilla, it just simply wasn't the case. And I tell you this, Adrienne, as well, I was at the palace well before Meghan was on the scene, and Harry said to me, look, I'm fed up with you writing all about my private life. Can we write about something else? And he wanted me to do something with the charity Walking with the Wounded, which I duly did and published that across 2 pages of the Mail on Sunday. Now, I accept that people will say, but that's not planting negative stories. That's him asking for you to write about his charity work. Yes, it was. But he wanted to keep the other stuff out of the paper. So Harry talks about these briefings, but he used to brief himself.
You know, this phenomenon that he talks about, and we've all talked about for some time, don't complain and never explain. Prince Harry describes it as sort of the family's motto. But is there anything beyond the tradition of that would stop, say, Prince William at this point from saying, I love my brother, I miss my brother, to hear that he's been in this much pain is terrible, we will work together to form a path forward, et cetera, et cetera. Is there anything stopping him from doing that?
Well, I mean, nothing's stopping him from doing anything. I think at the moment he's probably quite blinded by anger and that sense of betrayal.
Last thought, Katie, looking forward, coronation in 4 months' time. What's it going to look like considering everything that's happened?
It was interesting hearing Harry say that the ball was in the royal family's court. I actually think when it comes to the coronation, the ball may well be in the Sussexes' court. It'll be their choice and ultimately their decision as to whether they come. So I guess we have to wait and see. But at the moment, there's a lot of blame being levelled here and not much accountability on Harry's part. He can't throw everything everything at the royal family and not accept that some mistakes were made on his part.
Families are complicated. Katie Nicholl, thank you as always.
Thank you.